Hello and welcome to SuperCoach Edge for the round 18 review and round 19 preview. Well, we've had horror rounds before, but this was such a haunting tale to the level that not even Stephen King could have produced. We hoped it was all just but a bad dream, but with every passing day from early in the week, it just got worse and worse. We had confirmation first off that Dunks would miss a second week along with Lloyd, obviously due to the concussion the week prior. Then we had Sarong being suspended by the MRO and Tribunal Lotto. Then Sheldrick was confirmed to miss. Darcy Cameron was then ruled out. Oh, and then Tom Green was ruled out for 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. Oh, okay, we thought we'll have to rely on our bench depth for cover. Well, the havoc extended to there as well with the likes of Seamus Mitchell rested, Dev Robertson, the starting sub, and Marek omitted. Oh, well, we thought, until things changed, of course, courtesy of Simo, which I'll get into a little bit later. And you'll notice the title of this episode is a play on words, of course, of the song by Steelers Wheel. You might have heard it. It's called Stuck in the Middle with You. But instead of it being clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, here I am. It's injuries to the left of me, omissions to the right, here I am, stuck with a donut or two, which I think really does sum up things to a T. Remember we can kick off our barbershop quartet? I know we need another two, but I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope. But how did you feel, Liam? I thought, honestly, the bye weeks were over. They're back again with a vengeance.
Back again. Absolute horror. Absolute horror. I thought I had no zeros, but bloody hell. Some of them got close. Some of them got close, let's be honest. Yeah, it was a week. What a week.
It was quite a week.
Just want to forget about it. Just want to forget about it.
Let's forget about it. Let's do that.
If you're not following us on socials, we're going to jump straight in, where we post the latest news, post-match Supercoach scores, and the odd meme or two, which, Damon, you can talk about in a second. Great meme.
Oh, yes, forgot about that.
Very, very good meme. You can do so via Twitter at @supercoach_edge, Damo at Damo at DamoJ88, myself at Liam Evans _95, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, search Supercoach Edge, and you'll find us there. But Damon, meme, what was it?
Meme, I don't know what you're talking about. We're simply quoting something that Jared Waitley said.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yeah, and he did say it. He might come out and deny it, but I did hear from the proverbial horse's mouth on 3AW. I think he's on 3AW, isn't he? Or SEN, one of those. Yeah, I heard him say it, though. And he did mention, he said, Christian Petrarca is to AFL what Gordon Ramsay is to cooking. Whilst Ramsay may have more Michelin stars, Petrarca cooks just as well on the field as he does off it. This is AFL 360. I should have said it the whole thing in his voice, but didn't want to impersonate it and ruin things because just have to try and find the soundbite of him saying it.
Yeah, exactly. Just go searching for it. You'll find it out there. Of course. It was, good reference because, Petrarca does have that cooking Instagram that he has.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Not quite as big a call, I think, though, as his Brian Myers and Lionel Messi.
Well, you were there to witness it live.
Oh, I mean,
were people yelling out when he kicked his goal? Like in the European leagues?
I did see the Argentinian, is it Argentinian flag? Yeah,
flag,
it's Argentinian. Yeah. In the stands.
Yeah, Brian, he's Argentinian.
Of course, yeah. And I think there was an Ole call out there at one stage chant going on, which was great to hear. But let's move on. Let's jump into the next thing. We can move on from Jared Waitley. Again, just search it. You'll find it. Yeah.
He also slandered Elon Musk. So if anyone wants to attack him, like we got attacked last week
for footy, Damon.
For talking about Twitter and business and billionaires and whatever. Yeah, we just have to stick to footy. And so too should Jared. So
stay out of politics. Yeah, that wasn't even political. Anyway, let's jump into it and kick off things with our usual recap in the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Very good. Well, for those new to our show, in the good, the bad, and the ugly, we roll through some of the notable and more forgettable performances across the round and touch on how our own teams performed in our head-to-head rivalry. As Liam, we wrestle for ultimate supremacy.
I think I'm calling it. I'm calling it. I'm waving the white flag. It's happened.
Finally. But no, you're still in it, Liam.
Am I?
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out if you are.
Yeah. I think I probably should have called it a few weeks ago. I just completely blanked and did not jump into that.
Yeah, I thought you were deliberately like holding off because you wanted me to mention the ultimate supremacy because I know you hate doing it.
I just blanked.
Just blank.
I'm in a good state. My mind is absolutely cooked today. I am very tired. Let's jump into the good. This burns me as well because I don't have him. The good is Tim English.
Oh.
The old English breakfast came out and dished up a score on a silver platter, more than captaincy worthy, to the tune of 173, if you don't mind. It was very, very welcome in a week of absolute carnage. Not so welcome for me personally.
Not on his. He was my only shining light, I think, for my entire week. Without him, I would have slipped probably another 1,000 spots. He saved my week, did the English breakfast, and probably by extension, Hodor, which is quite apt because he went down injured again. And he was the only reason why I brought English in initially, was when he got injured. Yeah. But sliding doors, Damien Barrett style. But anyway, to the bad. And it is, well, one of many primos that underperformed, but Zach Merritt, Zeret, Zachary, whatever you want to call him, after 7 tons in a row. So he's probably done pretty well, but those featured scores such as 162, 137, 126, 168, and 136 among them. Zeret, well, I think he was probably due for a down game, but it's not good enough, Zeret. It's not good enough. And boy, was it a downer in a down round for all. I like the number, though. Must say, Merritt, well done. Tip of the cap. Did it for 2, 69 points. That's the only upside. That's the only thing, because it's quite funny for childish people like me. But if you're an owner, like both of us, and many listeners and watchers out there, that's not good enough.
No, simply not good enough. Simply not good enough.
Simply the worst.
Simply the worst. As Tina Turner sang.
Exactly.
Moving on to the ugly. It is Romo. The only saving grace here is that Rowan Marshall is owned, thankfully, by at least half of the competition. So we can take solace in that, knowing that his score of just 58 didn't just affect you, it affected 49.999% of other people as well.
Yeah, repeating, of course.
I'm coming up with 32.33, repeating, of course, percentage of survival. Zero Dragons!
Regardless, though, it's just not a performance we needed in a week like this. Like, seriously. Come on.
We'll delve into it in a moment when we go through our teams, but gee whiz, like, we thought it was, like, worse. Like, with all the emissions, suspensions, injuries, all that sort of restings. But, like, in round, when players you've brought in, like, at this point of the season, we're all supposed to have had, like, a full team.
Yeah.
An array of primos, the cream of the crop, as Macho Man would say. But they didn't perform like it at all. So due for a bounce back week for sure. That's the upside. I'm looking at the positives. With every negative, there has to be a positive. The yin and the yang. So hopefully it delivers this coming week. But speaking of yin and yang, let's go through both of our sides, Liam. I don't know which one I am. Am I the yin or are you the yang?
I don't know which one's the good one.
I don't know. It flips. It changes.
Yeah, it's a good point. You can be the yin. I'll be the yang today.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, for the yin team, it was a round from hell, and it really did test my bench depth, especially out forward with Dunks and DCam missing for my team as they would have for most. So with Seamus being rested, I had to rely on Dev Rob's score as sub, mind you, to cover a virtual 0. And first off, I was facing a 0, and then I was hoping. So team sheets, they don't announce the subs. So I was like, okay, well, I was looking through the emergencies. I'm like, well, surely Dev Rob has to be a sub. Thankfully, he was. But he only came on for like 15, 16 minutes. Thankfully, he scored, was it 29 or something? Helped me out. He actually had a scoring rate of 1.3 points a minute. So he scored out of his absolute nuss. And I was happy with that. A day later, fast forward. Turns out, Simo did me so dirty. Just raw. By bringing Marek in to the side as a late in, meaning I could have just played him, and it actually saw me miss out on an extra 38 points that I could have got by playing Marek. That would have also seen me hold my rank inside the top 1K, which is, a spoiler alert. A spoiler alert. I slipped in rank to now sit 1,015th overall after scoring a grand total of 2,327. So whilst it isn't overly bad, it was below par. And as you all know, I've been holding out for that top 1K spot, and I had it, and I've just lost. It's just slipped out of my hands already. So frustrating is an understatement. The only upside for my week, as I mentioned earlier, was nailing English as my VC option. And it turned out he was the only primo that really did perform, with many dishing up absolute shite, with Sinclair 67, Zeret 69, Neil's 75, and Romo's 58, highlighting all of that shitness. Oh, and did I mention I forked out 100K to trade Green, who of course was ruled out for 3 weeks heading into the round. I traded him to Sicily, thinking it'd be a great Uber pod primo move. Well, he too served up just 58 after being tagged by Jack Siebel of all people at one stage. Like, what an absolute slap in the face. Like, the guy who started as the sub, who we critiqued last week for starting as a sub, came on early, and it's just gee whiz. But well, I'm gonna put this week behind me, and I'm hoping like all of us that Dunks and DCAM can return to give me a full primo side for the first time this season. So
fingers crossed.
We'll see what happens. But Liam, how did your Yang side go?
Putrid.
Yeah, that yanged.
Putrid. It's yanked. Yanked big time. Oh, that's all I can say. 2,186 was my score. I just had a count just while we were talking. 12 of my players scored below 100.
Oh, 12. Gee whiz.
12. I might as well have had zeros. I had Wardlaw scoring 30 on field.
Oh,
I had
subbed as well through concussion.
Weddle scoring 51. I had, Zeret obviously 69, Marshall 58, Neil 75, Walsh 87, Mills 84. In fairness, I did have Laird 151, obviously. I had Libba 149. Dacos 130, Dawson 126, but just the big, again, it was like yin and yang. Kind of high scores and low scores, and not really much in between.
Yeah.
It hurt. Just definitely meant that, without the big scorers in English, Houston and Gawn, I was always going to be on the back foot. But with scores like that, I couldn't make up any ground. I did end up, in terms of trades, I opted to trade out the Riddler. Didn't trust that his knee issue. I just didn't trust Essendon, basically. I thought he might be laid out, or at the very least, if he wasn't, I thought he'd probably be hampered by it. So I traded him to Sicily because, of course, I wouldn't.
He's the cream of the crop.
Yes.
He was not the cream of the crop.
He was not.
He was the sour milk. He was
the off milk.
Yeah.
Had lumps in it.
Yeah, I was going to say it had a skin on it, and you have like hot chocolate, and it has like the skin on top because the milk's like pretty much burnt, so it develops a skin. Yeah, it puts the skin on the milk, or else it gets the hose again.
And I also moved on Tom Green for Ben Hobbs. Bit of a pod option to play in my forward line. He scored 68. Wasn't too good, wasn't too bad. Considering I don't think a single Essendon player turned up in that game. So not too concerned by a 68 this week. Had bigger issues this week across my side. But Primos. Just hopefully, Primos were my bigger issue. So hopefully next week, or this coming week, this weekend is kinder to us all.
And at least Ben Hobbs actually scored more than Sicily. So
Yeah.
it turns out that was like the better trade.
Yeah, I know. I should have, anyway, I should have just traded Grant. All of my trades, my last 3 trades, none of them, I'm net negative, I think, overall with them.
Jeez. Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Like it's just every week there's curveballs, there's injuries, there's suspensions, knock on wood, because there's been a fair time between drinks.
Mm.
But yeah, it's been shitful. But does that now puts you down to, are you 2 trades or 1 trade like me?
I have just the one left, and I will be
like me.
holding onto that one very tightly, I think, now.
Yep, I'll be doing the exact
Just
same.
gonna
So
bank it.
let's
Just gonna
hold
not
it
use
together.
it.
Yeah, let's hold it
Gonna
together.
keep it for the rest of the year.
I think just deviating slightly, just having a look back at last year, I kept my last trade up until I used it round 20. That's kind of what I normally do. I think like on the cusp of, or pretty much the first week of SuperCoach finals.
Yeah.
So around 20, I used my last 2 trades. And then the year prior to that, round 19. So I'm pretty much on par at the moment. But I'll just hold it. I'll just hold it.
Hold it.
Go a little bit further. Use that as an achievement. But anyway, Liam, let's round it out with our head-to-head, of course, where we wrestle for the ultimate supremacy. And our head-to-head, I must say, was probably the only matchup I won across my entire weekend in my leagues.
Oof.
Such was how horrid it was. But I can't complain because I know how bad a week you had in comparison to mine. So puts my week and round into perspective. So I will not be complaining from here on out.
No, we should all complain. We should all complain. I am going to officially wave the right flag here, though.
No,
I really don't think I can come back.
you literally can't, because there's only 6 rounds to go. There's a deficit of 12 wins you need to make up.
Double points.
Oh, actually, let's do that. Double points.
Let's not do that.
Let's
Let's not do that,
such a good idea.
Week 1, I will be like an extra. I'll already be out of it after week 1.
No, there's only double points that apply to you, only single to me. So there's like a
literally a handicap.
handicap. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for.
No,
Yeah, let's do it from here on out.
No,
'Cause then,
it's not happening.
then it means well, there's only 6 remaining, so you have to win every single week by that case, because there's a 12 win deficit or whatever you have to make up. So, let's start this weekend, Liam. Let's do it.
Is this like the old, like, I don't know whether this happened in Auskick. We used to play, like the footy game at the end or whatever. And then no matter what it was always like, you never kept, like, they never really kept score, but you knew who was winning.
Yeah.
But like, and then they'd be like wanting it to wind up, like, all right, next goal wins. And you're like, yeah, okay, the other team that kicked like 10 goals more than us. But yeah, next goal wins. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure thing. So we'll go by that, the Auskick rules.
Yeah, just Auskick rules.
It's really slap in the face, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll just end the competition from here on out.
Oh.
But no, it's ultimate supremacy. We need to wrestle every single week, Liam. We promise the fans, the listeners, the watchers.
Yes, we are. In terms of wins, losses, I have 3 wins, Damon. You have 15 wins. I could catch up.
You can catch up. Maybe handicap next year.
I just need
year.
I just need like all of your side to miss this week.
Don't do that. Did you see the speaking of which, the COVID rumor that someone like a troll made on Twitter?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I knew it was Donald Trump fake news, but it was like the guy impersonated a journo and changed his profile picture and stuff. And so many people knew it was, yeah. And Jackson Davey called him out, and he ended up changing his profile picture to that of Jackson Davey's profile picture.
Yeah. I just don't get why people do it.
No, I know, for their own enjoyment. Because it's like they're the only person that's in on the gag, if you could call it a gag, or like trolling. So I don't know. Some warped folks out there. But anyway, let's move on, Liam. Let's delve into all things fluctuations of pricing and rookies, which there are none at the moment. But there's primos in the horizon. There's cheap.
There are some rookies, actually.
Oh, there are a couple? Okay. Let's find out who they are in The Price is Right.
Show me the money. Oh! Does that make you feel good just to say that? What you gonna do, Jerry? Show me the money!
For those of you tuning in for the first time, weird time to start, but you do you, boo. The Price is Right is the segment where we discuss potential trades, trade targets from week to week, and whether a specific player in question should even be traded at all. Let's kick off, Damon, with what we usually kick off with, and it's gone.
Yes. First up, we only really have this one player in this category, and it is because it's must trade. It's Angus Sheldrick, mid forward, priced at 346.8k, averaging a 60 with a break even of 43. And after having surgery for a syndesmosis injury on Friday, we can all but rule him out for the season. If you've still got him, move him on. He won't feature for the rest of the season. And that's too much cash simply to just hold on your bench. So you might as well move him on. And yeah, bring in someone that can be of use because, as we know, on the weekend, we need as many warm bodies as we can get. And it's going to happen again. It always happens. We've been warning you. First-time players, stick with us. And yeah,
we'll get you
warm
through.
Bodies. Yeah, we'll get you through.
We'll get you through. Yep, agreed. Move him on. Now let's move on the chopping block. And these are guys that you can probably hold. But you can also trade. Just really comes down to your individual situation. I think as the season goes on, we'll probably be talking more in terms of on the chopping block for most trades, because with dwindling trades, you really can't trade just for the sake of it. But let's kick off with Jack Zeeble. He is defender forward eligible, 418.8k, averaging 93.6, with a break-even of 139, and he was named as the sub for the second time this season. So he is no longer necessarily reliable as a best 22 performer. I don't think he'll continue to be the sub. Like, surely not. Surely he comes in. But I think the concern is that the fact that he's currently doing it might mean that in the coming weeks, even if he does get a full game this week or next week, he might become the sub again later on. And as we get closer to SuperCoach finals, I think it's better to cut him loose if you can. If you can play him off the bench, probably not a bad option. But again, it's a lot of cash to be sitting on your bench if you don't really have a viable F6 or D6 option.
Yeah, spot on. It's surprising as well that he's still in 16.4% of teams. That's incredible. I mean, he's the height of his ownership was 32.2 back in round 11, and people started jumping off when his break even started to rise, and he was sort of losing opportunity in defense. But yeah, now like he's already dropped 28.1k on the weekend, and with that high break even, is projected to lose close to another 30k. So now's the time to jump off, I think, more than anything, if you are fielding him, that is. Otherwise, maybe you could hold him as a bit of cover. But yeah, there's a couple of other options that we'll roll through in a moment who are cheaper and probably more reliable. So keep an ear out for that. And let's move on to next up. We have Tom Green, midfielder, priced at 594k, averaging a 106.3 with a break even of 112. And you would have heard he suffered a hamstring injury prior to the weekend and did miss, of course. You'd expect it's likely he misses at least another week, if not two, because they initially ruled him out for up to 3 weeks. Could be more. But if he does miss the next 2 rounds, that means he's going to miss a third of the rest of the season, if that makes sense. So the remaining games of the season, he's missing a third. So there's 6 rounds to go, 2 weeks out, 2, 4, 6. That's a third of the season. If that's just simple maths for those people who have no idea.
For the maths lesson there, Damon.
No worries. Call me Professor.
Yeah.
So yeah, you may need to get a bit more aggressive, I think, to make some ground in the rankings more than anything.
That trade probably becomes more aggressive. Yep. It's a hard one. Like, if it is just 2 weeks, you can probably hold him. Oh, it's hard because he's actually not. He's scored reasonably well in his last 3 games. Like, I think he's had one downer, not last weekend, the weekend before. But his 2 games before that were decent, 125-ish off memory.
Yeah.
It makes it hard.
Yeah, if you've already held him for a week as well, that's the other thing. It's just like, the time to trade him was like heading into the weekend to really capitalize on making up for those lost points by bringing in someone then and there and not having to rely on a rookie. I mean, it depends who you are using to cover him and how many points they could sort of bridge the gap with. But yeah, if you're having to rely on an unreliable rookie, I think it probably speaks for itself that, considering that he's missing again another third of the remaining games, I would probably trade him more than anything. But yeah, at that price point as well, you get some juicy options.
Yeah, exactly. Good, easy trade there. Moving on to his teammate, it is Kieran Briggs, ruck eligible, 505.5k, averaging 106.9 with a break even of 102. Now, 2 of his last 3 scores have been below 100. So that was an 87 and a 79. In sandwich in between them was a score in, I think it was 107 off the top of my head. So if you do have the trades up your sleeve, you could move him on. You could keep him. This is where it kind of gets a bit more, not confusing, but a bit more interesting because his fixture for the rest of the season, it's a bit of a mixed bag of lollies. So
I like this.
Now, I don't know. What do we like? The raspberry lollies? Is that like, what's peak? What's peak mixed bag?
Like lollies? Like raspberry frogs I used to love.
Yes, raspberry frogs, the red frogs.
Yeah, red frogs are good.
Or like a snake, like a red snake. Even.
Yeah, snake. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. So the red snake.
Yep.
They're the games against Port, Sydney, and Western Bulldogs. They give away a lot of points to opposition ruckmen.
Interesting, because they're all hard teams as well.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? But like, I mean, I guess
at least
Sydney,
2 of those 3.
Yeah, Sydney, Port don't really go in with a really recognised ruckman half the time.
True. Yep.
Sydney, I mean,
they drop ticky.
Yeah. English is the interesting one that he gives away a lot of points to opposition ruckmen, but yeah, I guess he probably isn't as big a tap ruckman as others, but yeah, It's an interesting one. I don't know how we look into that one. But all right, then on the opposite side, the worst side of the mixed bag of lollies.
I'm going to say the black cat.
Yeah.
Did you ever get them? I don't know. Some people really, it's a love it or hate it type thing, but I don't know. It leaves the residue on your tongue.
Yeah.
It's not like traditional licorice. It's just, I don't know. It's a weird imitation.
Turkish I was also going to go really harsh with the bananas. I really don't like bananas.
Oh, okay. I reckon that's another one that is either you love it or hate it. Like there's no in between.
No, I hate bananas.
I must say I'm on the side of I'm partial to a banana.
Do you like do you like milk bottles?
Or I can eat them. Like if they're left in the bag, I'll eat them.
Yeah,
but
okay,
I wouldn't be like one of the first things to eat, to grab.
What about what's your least favorite color snake?
Or probably a yellow. I reckon between yellow and green.
No, I think green's the worst.
Green's the worst?
Yeah. So it's actually quite funny.
Taste the same.
So yeah, probably they're all the same flavor actually. It's just a color. Jackie really likes the green ones, and I'm like, it's perfect because
I remember she said that.
She likes the green ones. I don't like the green ones. We both don't mind the red, but like we both like red ones, obviously, because who doesn't love a red snake?
Yep. Unless you're a psycho.
Exactly. And then she doesn't like the yellow. I don't really dislike the yellow, but like I don't love it. But she hates the orange ones, and I love the orange ones.
What?
So it's like perfect. It's actually great. We can just
I love how this is
just lollies, and it just works.
Yeah, I love how this is this is delve into lolly chat. But people will be on. Really let us know as well in the comments as to what your favorite is in terms of colors, because I would rank it red, orange.
Yeah.
Then it's traditionally like it's green and yellow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Aren't any other colors apart from that?
No, not really.
It's like the primary colors.
Yeah.
Apart from there's no blue.
But anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
So the green lolly games for Briggs are Gold Coast and Essendon, who give away are harder to score against for opposition ruckman. So I think he's only got one other game there, and it's Carlton, and they're kind of neither good nor bad to score against. They're kind of you get your average,
middle of the road. Yeah.
So it kind of throws in the opportunity could go relatively big in his last few games, but he gets those polar opposites again. That being said, though, Flynn is always just waiting in the wings. And I love how every time they play on a Sunday, they just add him to the extended bench. And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Just to mess with all owners.
No, please don't do it. If you do have the trades, though, you could move him on to Gorn. Could be a nice little upgrade, but yeah, it's a tough one. Depends how many trades you have left. It depends if you're relying on him. The problem with Briggs is that he's kind of like he's kind of like, he's a pod. He's a pod, but it affects you when if you have like this week, if you hit like me, Marshall and Briggs, that ruck line hurt. Didn't even collectively score as much as English, and didn't even get close to collectively scoring more than Gorn.
That's the issue with the with the pods, isn't it? Like, they can hurt you so much, but they can also benefit you more because obviously low ownership. So that's kind of the risk you take when going for pods. And a lot of these players that we'll mention and have mentioned, we'll mention in terms of getting them in, they are pods. So that's part of the reason is like, at least the ones that we will mention have a bit of solid scoring behind them. Because I know there are some coaches out there, some that we know quite well, Liam, that go for players that are pods, but they don't traditionally have the high scoring in their repertoire. They don't have best 22 job security. So that's one thing with Briggs, is that like this is the first time that we're seeing score at this level. So there's no real, I guess, security in seeing if he's been able to score like this in the past. So the games that we're seeing at the moment, the ebbs and flows, we're seeing a bit more of a sample size just grow virtually. Like you're a bit of a guinea pig, I think, as an owner at the moment, for future ownership when it comes to Briggs, if that makes sense. So it's interesting. It's interesting, but it is what it is. And as you said, it comes down to how many trades you got.
Yeah, agreed entirely.
Very nice. Well, let's move on to the juicier part of the trade segment, and it is get them in. And there's a juicy man here, and it is the running man himself, Took Miller. He's priced at 518K, averaging a 101.3 with a break even of 103. And the running man, so he scored 101 in his second game back from a knee injury on the weekend. But the most pleasing part of this game was the fact that he was gifted back his usual CBAs, with 64% after playing just 17% in a largely forward role last round. He's just in 4% of teams. So when talking about pods, he is definitely one. And is a very, very handy pod at that, considering he was owned by 20% of the competition earlier in the season, with many predicting he would be in the top 8 scoring mid bracket, which I was of that opinion as well. And Liam, I think you might have been sort of veering towards that as well. Didn't start with him, but was looking to bring him in around about the buys. And he obviously had that injury and has been out for a fair while. But off the back of that has seen his price plummet. So he is at that juicy price range at the moment. He is, of course, still building up to full fitness, so has definite scoring upside off the back of that alone, having played 76% time on ground on the weekend, which is up from 69% in his first return game. However, it's still below the 85 to sort of 90% he was averaging prior to his injury. So for perspective, his rate of scoring on the weekend was 1.16 points a minute, which is around par with what he produced in full games when he was scoring 120 plus, sort of at a minimum. And if we extrapolate that scoring rate out across a full game of 90% of that 1.16 points a minute, he'll be scoring between 130 and 140. So it's fair to say he has yet to hit his ceiling, and all he needs is a full game. So that's going to come with time. So the ability is there. He hasn't lost anything despite that knee injury, which is pleasing to see. So if you're looking for a midfielder, and when we speak of getting rid of, say, a Tom Green, even a Jack Zeebel's probably a little bit out of the range, but like a Tom Green, downgrading him to Took Miller, that's going to gift you around about 76K roughly, which is handy if you've got other trades up your sleeve as well, for sideways trades or even upgrades if you're looking to do that as well.
Agreed. Massive one to get in if you can. Good price, good scoring average. And I think it's just important to remember that he won't be anywhere near the top 8 mids for the rest of the season by season's end. But from this point of the season on, he could be. So trading him in now. It's only about the points that you're going to get from now
Average.
until the end of the season. So think about his average. And if he can score better than, I don't know who else you might bring in at this stage of the season, yeah, he's one to get in. But I think at 518k, he should fit in very nicely into most teams if you are looking for your last midfield option, or if you are looking to trade Tom Green out.
Absolutely.
Let's move on to the next guy, another midfielder. And we did speak about him last week. It is LDU, Luke Davies Uniacke. He's obviously a midfielder, 550.9k, averaging 110 on the dot and a break even of 51. And he has hit back hard, on his return from injury, battering up from his 134 in the week prior to score 129 against the Hawks on the weekend. This is in line with the scores he was producing in the early rounds prior to injury striking. So it certainly validates those of us that started or jumped on him thinking he could push for a top 8 scoring mid spot, which he is certainly producing now. And this again goes to the point that we were making, or I made earlier about Took Miller, is that it's not about him being a top 8 mid. It's from him being a top 8 mid from the point of the season where you trade him in. It is those former owners like us who would be familiar, though, with his injury woes. But for non-owners, consider this as a warning. If he is truly over his hamstring and foot injuries, though, he could be one of the bigger pods on the run home at just 6.8% ownership. And I think we also have to look back, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but he went absolutely bananas on the run home last year.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, that's very, very true.
I'm just getting his stats up while we speak.
Yeah, it was literally after the bye.
He went on an absolute run. He had an 88 the week after the bye, but then he went 124, 149, 110, 104, 68, 119, 141, and 95. So some very, very big scores in there.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he? Like, I had him in my team. Liam, you had him in yours as well.
Yeah.
And we were both quite bullish. We spoke about him at length during the preseason. For those people that didn't tune in at that stage and are new to our podcast and vodcast, but we sort of spoke of him up there with the likes of Tom Green. He was, for me, he was very, very hard to split between Greeny and him. And I think it was just the fact that Green was showing the scoring in the preseason, which trumped LDU. So if the season finished now, looking to 2024, he would be one of my first picked, I reckon. I'd still have faith in him. And yeah, as you say, that run of scoring towards the back end of last year, the fact that he started the season like a house on fire this year, before he got injured, he had hamstring injuries, knee niggle, he had a heel issue as well.
Yeah.
So a whole range of things, the poor bloke. But it looks as though now he's already recapturing that form that he showed in his first 2 games of the season, where he kicked it off with 143 and a 155 to start the year. And then the injury started to hit and he was underdone and was scoring, 70s, 60s, that sort of stuff. But yeah, he's back in form, I think, but it's just, that injury worry, and still in the same season, obviously, where he's had those issues. So if they crop up again, who knows? Well, Liam, let's move on to the next option, and it is a very, very juicy one at that. Probably won't get much cheaper than this, and it is Georgie Boy. He's back. Georgie Boy Hewitt as a midfielder. Unfortunately, he's not a defender mid that we knew and loved last year. He's priced at 259.8k. 259.8k. Insane. He's averaging a 62.7, which you're like, okay, that's pretty crap. But hear me out. His break even is 53. So Georgie Boy, he's had 4 consecutive weeks of being the starting sub, which has seen his price plummet to ridiculous depths, almost as deep as the Titanic, potentially. Too soon.
I'm the king of the world!
He's actually 353.5k cheaper than his starting price.
I was going to make a really inappropriate joke, but anyway.
Go on, say it.
No, I can't do it.
Now's the time.
No,
I've already made it. I was referencing the Titan.
Yeah, no,
Of
I'm
course.
not saying it.
Are you going to say that George Hewitt's going to implode if he gets any lower?
Yeah. I'm going. We've already had a go at 1 billionaire this week. Can't do it to another.
But yeah, so I'm pretty much like I'm nailed then because I just had two poor taste jokes. But anyway, the fact with Georgie boy, he's actually finally getting ample game time, courtesy of Matt Kennedy going down with injury, and was able to punch out a score of 78 on the weekend with 53% CBAs, which is on par with all of Kennedy's previous CBAs. So he's pretty much consumed all of that leftover CBAs there. His role and spot in the team should be as solid from here on out. And we only need to remember back to last season as to how good his scoring can be when he sort of hits his ceiling. This season so far, he scored 89, 88, 93, 124, 88, 85 in 6 of his 8 full games this season. So that really does speak to his value at his current price point. I mean, that's kind of equivalent of a, the price a little bit more expensive compared to Sheasel, who was 190 odd, who was punching out those scores, and we're like, geez, that's incredible. 60K more, and you're getting the same sort of thing with Georgie Hewitt, who has very rock solid job security. And the weekend reminded us also of how valuable bench cover will be across the remainder of the season. So if you have a cash cow like, say, Seamus Mitchell or Matt Roberts, not Matt Roberts, Matt Johnson from Freo, that you're keen to cash in, consider Hewitt, as there are virtually no genuine rookies, apart from maybe a Boomer Jr., really to rely upon with scoring ability and job security. So you get both of those in spades by going to him. And just for reference as well, Seamus Mitchell is priced at 386.8K. Downgrade to him, you get 130, 120 odd K in the kit for another sort of primo upgrade if you still need to upgrade the rest of your team and you've got trades in hand. So I'd be more willing to go down to him, get the cover, as opposed to going down to another high-priced rookie.
I agree. Even Sheldrick, you go down to him, you're getting 80 odd K, I think, off the top of my head.
Yep.
Like, that just seems logical.
Yeah, no brainer.
Yeah, it's points and money. And they're really there. If you've got Sheldrick or Johnson or Seamus at this stage of the season, other than for obviously injury cover, you probably wouldn't need to play him.
No.
So you're really bringing Hewitt onto your bench. And I know we spoke about the fact that 259K is a lot to have on your bench. Or 200, we're speaking about Sheldrick at 346. It's a lot to have on your bench. But I think if you've got the trades and the cover, I think Hewitt presents as better cover than most others and could be a good loop option as well, not just cover.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
In saying that.
Yeah, like a lot of people, well, if you're in my position, Callum Mills, he is my M8. He's not the most reliable. If you've got Callum Mills as your, he's not the most reliable at all. So you could potentially, depending on how fixtures line up for the run home, you could potentially, if Carlton has an early game, Sydney has later games, you have the emergency on Hewitt and then loop on his score if he goes bananas. Otherwise, keep Mills on field. So that's kind of the looping side of things, which we haven't really delved into as yet, which we may discuss in coming rounds. But the name of the game at this stage anyway, with the amount of carnage that we saw on the weekend, is just pure cover. And the other thing I should mention as well, he's got to be one of the biggest pods around. He's in 0% of teams. He's in just 836 teams.
Yeah, wow.
So he's the pot of pods.
I like it. I like it a lot. Moving on to the next guy, Max Gawn. What a game. Ruck eligible, obviously. 566.7K, averaging 101.8 with a break even of 24. And Gawny. What can we say?
He's so Gawny. He made a lot of people Gawny. Made a lot of owners Gawny. Jeez, he was immense. Absolutely
immense. That was just an absolute reminder of what he can do when he is the solo ruck and why he was the SuperCoach staple for so long. A score of 215 was his highest ever score by 3 points on the weekend. But the question, I think, before we look at trading him in is, will Grundy come back into the side? I know Goodwin claimed they wanted Grundy to find some form in the VFL, which was interesting considering that Casey had the bye this week in the VFL. I love when coaches do that. Like, people can't figure that out.
Yeah.
Like, why say it? Just say he needed a rest, or you know what I mean? Like, just
Yeah.
anyway.
They make us for fools, Liam.
Seriously, it's called the
All of
internet.
us.
Do you know that Google
Yep.
exists? Um,
No, like Elon, you do know that Elon Musk owns Twitter and we can use Twitter until we get banned
depends if you
because
get
we.
rate limited. Um,
Yeah.
it is another risky play though, to bring in Gorney. But if he does he's the number one ruck for Melbourne, and holds that without Grundy coming back, he could be in some absolutely massive scores, which would be very nice on the run home. Especially if you've got a Briggs, like Briggs to Gorn, it's going to cost you about, what, 60 odd K.
Mm.
It's just hard. It's hard to know whether he's going to go massive constantly. And what Grundy's going to do to him if he does come back. Because you assume that they're going to bring Grundy back before finals.
Yeah.
Like,
You'd think so. He's such a good player, Grundy. Like they can't just have him languishing. They've spent all this money investing in trading for him. They've got to find a way to make it work, really. I don't know, like if it's just Grundy spends more time up forward as opposed to Gorn. Like he's gone, he's in the more effective ruck. So Grundy's played up forward and he's, early days at least at the Pies, and resting as well. I don't know. Play him as a high half forward, just marking up along the wing.
yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting though, but we'll see how things play out there. But the spectre of, I guess, Grundy is now over Gorn. But if Gorn keeps playing as well as he has, like he did on the weekend, he's going to keep that mantle for the rest of the season, surely. But let's move to on the bubble in terms of rookies. So first off, we have Cooper Harvey. This is Boomer Jr., of course. Mid forward, priced at 117.3K, averaging 44.5 with a break even of -22. Has really good job security, being the son of Boomer Harvey, but his scoring potential will be so should only really be used as a way to gain cash for an upgrade and as a last resort in terms of bench cover. The good thing is, though, of course, has the DPP swing between mid and forward. So if you don't have that swing activated, he's an easy way to try and activate it and, sort of allow for a bit more cover on the run home.
Yeah, so now let's move on to Taj Woden, mid forward eligible, 123.9K, averaging 48.5 with a break even of -26. Now, the role that Woden plays really isn't that conducive to strong SuperCoach scoring week in, week out. But on top of that, his job security. Also probably shaky, you'd expect, playing for a team that is a little bit higher on the ladder than North Melbourne.
Yeah.
If it is between these two, I'd lean towards Harvey first. His job security should be better over the season. You'd expect, one being the son of Boomer, but also just playing in a side that's not performing as well, and really needs to blood the youth. But he's also got a slightly lower price by 6K, which, you know what, every dollar helps. Every dollar helps when you are trying to cash in for an upgrade. So, yeah, I'd probably lean towards Harvey. I think Woden probably has a little bit better scoring potential just because he does play for a better side. But I don't think it's going to be much better than Cooper Harvey's overall.
Yeah, exactly right. It's much for muchness. They both provide that DPP swing. They're both father-sons as well, just to better align this, I guess, the sliding doors,
compare
the comparison, the mirroring, the compare the pair, exactly right. Much for muchness. But yeah, like you, I'll probably go for the one with the better job security, which is probably at this stage, as you said, Cooper Harvey, playing for the lower side there. Let's move on and round it out with Sam Banks as a defender midfielder, priced at 123.9K, averaging a 45 with a break-even of -19. And his job security probably sits somewhere between Woden's and Harvey's, but his scoring potential is really pretty much the same. I'd only really choose him over Harvey if you're in need of a defender swing over a forward one. So that's really the only reason why you'd be going for him over the other two, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely there. At this stage, I probably wouldn't have been looking at a rookie, to be perfectly honest. I'd probably be looking at a 102K non-playing loophole. But if you are really wanting some cover, I'd probably go Harvey, Banks, and then Woden in terms of options.
Yep.
In terms
Agree.
of upcoming rookies, there's one, Jack Paris from the Saints, 123.9K, averaging, just scored one game, obviously. He's hasn't played that many, 66. Not bad from him, and he is mid-forward eligible, but again, at this stage of the season, probably irrelevant.
Very good. Well, Liam, let's not mess about. Let's delve into the next segment. And it is, I'm going to go plunder ye red snakes. Toot toot. I'm the pirate captain now.
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
It's I'm the captain
I really
now. We
tried to give you an option of going with it snakes on a plane, but anyway.
Oh, yes,
Come
I
on,
could
you got
have.
me to pilot, Captain.
Oh, exactly. Gee whiz. I'll give that one to you. But you know why?
Anyway.
You know why, Lamb? Because I'm sick of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Oh, the stupidest movie, but so good as well.
Anyway.
Yeah. But in I'm the Captain Now, we chat about what VC and C options you've got for the upcoming round of SuperCoach. As always, we've scrounged through the data and found you the best options for you to consider. So first up, we have the vice captaincy options in the earlier games. Liam, what say you in the first game? You're familiar with this one.
I
Involves
am.
your mob.
That was my mob. The Dons up against the Doggies on Friday at 7:50 p.m. at Marvel Stadium. Yes, it'd be nice to be undercover rather than in the elements in Geelong. But anyway, let's kick off. Zach Merritt, first up, averages 108.5 in his last 4 against the Doggies with scores of 99, 123, 96, and 116.
Is what it is. And speaking of coldness, I must admit, Marvel can be just as cold as Geelong,
That is
just without
true.
the wind.
Yeah, that is true.
Just purely because of the fact it doesn't have a soul. It's just soulless and it's just cold, cold-hearted. It doesn't even have a heart. Yeah, it's not like the G. But yes, at least you're out of the Geelong elements. That's for sure. But let's move on to the next option, and it is Tim English. In his last 4, he's averaged 127 against the Dons with scores of 123, 204, 105 and 76. So that score is probably more in line with like what he scored on the weekend. Because it's going to be interesting, Liam. Is Sam Draper, is he going to return?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know what's going to happen with our rucks this week. Like if he rucks against Brian,
yeah,
God help us. Tim English is going to score 300.
Elite.
If Draper comes back, probably goes well, but not as well. Like might score 120, 130 odd. If Phillips is back, I think the same thing. Phillips is probably the most negating of them all, though.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
I feel like he's more likely to negate. I don't know.
We'll wait and see what happens. But
We'll
if he plays up against Nick Bryan, he's played how many games now? It's like a handful of games.
3, I think.
Yeah.
4 maybe.
Could be a dream. Tim English's run could be like what Wits had last year.
Yeah.
Just coming up against, no name,
Ruckman,
developing
yeah.
Ruckman.
No,
anyway.
but the inanimate carbon rods. Which describes what's his name? Nick Bryan, because he is literally just a beanpole.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just a carbon rod. Anyway, also in that game, Marcus Bontempelli has an average of 110.5 in his last 4 against my mob. 115, 123, 105, and 99.
Yep, I like him as an option, 100%. This is kind of mirroring last round. It's like, do you go for English? Do you go for Bont? Do you go for Dakes? Now it's like, do you go for Merritt? Yeah, I don't know. But
I'm not sure
VC first up in like the first game of the round, like just the feeling of locking that in, like as I did on the weekend with English, it's such a good feeling. But then the round turned to shit. So it dissolved away very, very quickly. But let's move on to the next game, and it is Richmond up against Hawthorn on Saturday at 1:45 p.m. at the MCG. Just noted as well, no more Thursday games. Done and dusted for the season, I think. In this game, we have first up Tim Taranto. In his last 4, he's averaged 96.25. And they feature scores of 111, 100, 104, and 70. Just don't trust Timmy Taranto, unfortunately.
No.
In fantasy, I do. Not so much in SuperCoach, just because his disposal is absolutely putrid.
Agreed. Also in that game, don't know if I trust him either. James Sicily, 115.5 is his average against Richmond in his last 4. His scores of 141, 118, 128, and 75.
Yeah,
I don't
know
know why I don't trust him. It's just like that thing, you've been burnt with a 58. You really don't want to back him in the next week.
It's it's that recency bias, really. That's all it is. Just the psychology of the SuperCoacher. Richmond as well, they don't really give away too many points to defenders, but at least I was taking note when I recorded my Team Talk video, which is just uploaded, by the way. But in terms of against North are actually the stingiest side to opposing defenders.
Oh, really?
Which, I would have never have guessed. But there we go. So maybe this is a bounce back game. Just hopefully they weren't taking any notes on the weekend. They're like, okay.
Well, did it really work? Like,
no, because
you know
they lost
what I mean?
the game. And they shifted the tag. No.
It annoys me so much when teams are getting pumped tag a player. Like, it just
like, it's not benefiting.
Like, I get kind of doing it for a little bit to, when the game's gone, you kind of want to throw the magnets around and just see how you line up. But like, why continue doing it, or why do it all game? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. The only benefit I think is like where if the opposing coach knows that if they put a tag on a certain player, then in all likelihood, it's going to make them move that player into another position. So it throws out their structure. I can see that point. But apart from that, like you don't want to be tagging the one player all game and they're getting pumped. It's like, well, what's the benefit?
Yeah.
It's just negating one player and at the
especially when you start that way, I think that's when it frustrates me, because I'm like, now you should throw out the magnets to try and win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's a bit stupid, isn't it? But anyway, let's move on to the next game, and it is Brisbane up against Geelong on Saturday at 4:35 p.m. at the Gabba. And we have Lockie Neal in his past 4 against the Cats. He's averaged 108.75, featuring scores of 128, 75, 98, and 134. He's been out of on the weekend. He dished up that putrid score, but he actually hasn't been too bad prior to that. Scoring that nice score against the West Coast, of course, the West Coast.
West Coast
with a 142, 143 against Richmond prior to that as well. And he actually had a run of 3, 6, 7, 8 games in a row where he scored over a ton. So he was due for a downer. That's always the case. So this is the bounce back game, maybe, perhaps.
Yes. Yep. Agreed. On the other side of the field, though, we've got Tommy Stewart. Now, I would probably steer clear of him. He is an average of just 60 against the Cats. Scores of 83, 58,
Lions.
80. Sorry, the Lions, correct?
Well, the Lions are Cats, so technically you're correct.
Exactly.
Lions.
The big Cats. Scores of 83, 58, 81, and 18, which would have been injury affected. So, I think we can discount that. But even then, it still only really equates to probably an average of about 70. So not strong.
No, exactly right. Doesn't give you that warm fuzzy feeling in Zibali.
No.
Now, speaking of which, let's move on to the captaincy options. And there's a couple of juicy options amongst these. So the first game we have Freo up against Sydney on Saturday at 7:40 p.m. at Optus Stadium. And first up we have Andy Brayshaw. He's averaging a 103.75 against Sydney with scores of 88, 96, 109, and 122. So a bit of a mixed bag there as we speak of. Couple of snakes, couple of bananas.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. But this next guy though, Liam,
juicy. Errol Goulden. Let's just jump straight in, my boy. 156, 113, 127. Those are his last 3, or his only 3 scores against the Swans. Against the Dockers. Oh God, I'm really struggling today.
We're nearly there.
All tons, and that last one, 156, came earlier this year. That's an average of 132 from those 3 games. So could be in for a big one. It's a risky captaincy option though.
It is very much a risk, but does this provide a little bit more security, Liam? In his past 5 games, he scored 111, 164, 124, 143, and a 117, which is on the weekend. So he's got a little bit of form behind him, at least. So it'll be a pod. I reckon it'll be a pod more than anything.
There is a guy that plays tomorrow, plays the day after that could be a good C option.
Yeah, if you want to put the VC on Goulden.
So you could put the VC on Goulden if you've got a late loophole option. I can't remember when the Giants play. I think they play on Sunday, but I could be wrong.
Interesting. Who are you referring to there?
You'll see when we get there.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, let's round out this game first off. And it is Luke Ryan, the other option. He's averaging a 95.25 against the Swans with scores of 85, 128, 106, and 62. Jeez, I'm keen to hear who this player is, Liam.
Oh, wait. You might have to wait a little bit longer. It's the next game. Next game after this one.
Okay.
Same time. I hate when they do this.
Oh, why?
Like, why? But anyway, Port Adelaide up against Collingwood Saturday at 7:40, the exact same time as the Fremantle game. At Adelaide Oval. And just make them 10 minutes apart so that you can flick between them during the quarter time breaks, all that kind of stuff. Seriously. Anyway, Nick Dacos. He's played the power twice for scores of 149 earlier in the season and a 77 for an average of 113 in those 2 games. Absolutely massive. But also comes into this game with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consecutive tons.
Yep.
And 4 of his last 4 scores, all above 130.
Jesus.
And the last time let's have a look at his fantasy. So let's have a look at his averages at stadiums. At venue, Adelaide Oval, he has an average of 121 from his 3 games there, 163 being his high score and 72 being his low score.
Amazing. And we recall as well that that game earlier in the season, Lockie Jones was put on him as the cooler. And Ken Hinkley came out pre-match and was saying, "Oh yeah, no, we're not going to just negate one player. We're better than that," and just absolutely disrespected him. And he tore the power to shreds. So it's going to be interesting to see. Surely they're going to try something on him this time around. Surely, like Hinkley's learned his lesson. But again, you're not going to be doing it at the expense of the rest of your side. And the power, they're up against it. They didn't look very good against my mob on the weekend, provided we played well, but they had a couple of key outs as well. But I think, it's going to be tough for them regardless. But let's move on to the next player. And it is Connor Rosie. He's averaging an 85.25 in his last 4 against the Pies, 92, 119, 38, and 92. So, don't know about him, but he's an option if you want.
Moving on to Melbourne up against Adelaide Sunday at 3:20 at MCG. Sorry, Max Gawn, pick him. 122.25 is his average against the Crows. 124, 100, 107, and 158. Max Gawn. Could you take the risk with a C?
I reckon you could. Well, off the back of the weekend, Grundy doesn't come into the side.
If Grundy doesn't come in, I'd consider it
100%.
Especially if you were down. Like if you need to pull out a big score.
Yeah, a bit of a pod captaincy option.
Could be a nice little risk.
Yeah. It's going to help you as well late in the round. A lot of people, I wonder what the stats are if we can find it, but I just imagine a lot of people would put the VC obviously on an earlier game. That's granted, but the captaincy option as well. I wonder how long people wait to use it. Like, do they use it early on? How often do people use? Like, we always joke about putting it on a player in the last game of the round, just because I don't think many people would do it unless it's a super standout, like a Lockie Neal or something. But yeah, interesting. Like Lockie Neal against West Coast, I'm referring to. But wonder what the stats are on that. But yeah, he would be someone to look at. Absolutely. This game is just filled to the brim with some good options here. Next one is Rory Laird. It's probably got an asterisk over him just because of the fact that he copped a bit of a stinger to they call him to the AC joint to his shoulder. So they're monitoring him throughout the week. He of course played on.
He's out.
Got a bit of a jab. Went out there, didn't feel his arm, and just I think he notched up another 30 odd points in the next half of the quarter to round out the match. So did very well. But yeah, please don't be out, Rory squared. But he's averaging a 142 against the Ds. And look at these scores. In his last four, 130, 123, 195, and a 120. So if it wasn't for that niggle, I would be very, very keen to put the captaincy on him just based upon, I mean, he's scoring in recent times, form-wise, has been up and down. Scored that 151, obviously, on the weekend. But yeah, I love that historical form line. It's good. That's what makes you feel warm and fuzzy in the tummy.
Well, you've got... Yes, it does. You've got the historical form line and you've got the recent form line of 151. Like, he's in form. Could be a good one to pick. I don't mind him. He's one that I would be considering if you want to go Errol Goulden as your VC.
Yep, I like it.
Jordan Dawson, though, another option. 100.25 is his average against the Ds, with scores of 144, 104, 66, and 87, though I'd probably discount those later two scores and focus more on the 144 and 104, just based off his role change.
Yep, I like it. Scored a 126 on the weekend as well, so not too bad from Jordo. And then rounding us out is the truck himself, Christian Petrarca. 189 was his most recent game against the Crows. Incredible. Then a 116, 126, and a 132 for an average, 4-round average or 4-game average against them. 140.75. Again, he's scoring quite well as it is, considering he's playing more time up forward. With sort of pinch hitting now in the midfield, which is incredible to see. He's kicked he's kicked 4 goals back to back, 8 goals across 2 rounds, and prior to that, he scored 4 behinds when he was notably inaccurate for that game. So going to be interesting, but Goodwin's going to persist, and at least he's kicking goals up there for the likes of myself and other owners. His CBAs, just to point that out, he was around about 80, 87, 75 leading into the past 2 weeks, where he's then gone 50% and 43% CBAs. So they've dropped off a fair bit, but he's still punching out scores. But he was hard done by on the weekend. I'll contest.
Yeah, I will say that
to an extent. But I think with that recent form line that he's got, and with that historical average, he's juicy.
Yeah, he's juicy. I just think the role's risky. Like,
it is risky. It's juicy, but it comes with that risk as well.
Yeah.
Without those 4 goals, I wonder what his scoreline.
Well, that's it. What did he score on the weekend? 120 odd.
He scored a 113. Which was very much under. He actually scored lower than his AFL fantasy, which is just utterly ridiculous as the major goal scorer for Melbourne. But 26 disposals, 4 goals, 2, 3 marks, 4 tackles. So yeah, he's still getting the sort of numbers that he was getting possessions wise anyway.
Yeah,
when he's in the midfield.
Yeah,
around about that mark. Probably 2 to 4 disposals less, but yeah, it's just the scoring wise. He's still kind of getting up there. Like even when he was full time mid, 121, 128, 122.
Yeah, okay, so not that far off.
Round the mark, but yeah, you'd want to see him in the engine room without Chloe being there. That's where he does his most damage.
Exactly. Let's move on to the last game of the round. St Kilda up against North Melbourne Sunday at 4:40 p.m. at Marvel Stadium. And we just got the one guy here, and it's Jack Sinclair. He's got an average of 92.75 against the Roos, with scores of 99, 140, 75, and 57. Though it comes with a massive caveat that he could be tagged by North Melbourne.
Yep. And I would not be going talking about
too risky.
the matchup exploitation. As I mentioned earlier, when it came to Sicily, they concede the second least points to wing defenders.
Yeah. It's really going to come down to where he plays as well. If he plays through the middle,
yeah,
it probably still doesn't help him enough.
yeah. There's
to
a positive
score well.
correlation with him. They give up the most points to inside mids, but yeah, if he's, as you say, it's kind of down to his role. If he plays in defense primarily or off the wing, high half back, that sort of traditional role, then I don't think it's going to bode well for him. But surely they're going to put some attention into him.
Surely.
Considering that they did that for Sicily.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, let's jump into our little captaincy head-to-head, Liam. So on the weekend, I went for English, and I feel bad because I know you wanted to take him, and I tried to claim him first up because I thought I had the first pick, but I didn't, and you did.
I didn't really want to take him, but I felt bad taking him from you.
No, you shouldn't have, because I was going to put the VC on him anyway, so I reaped the rewards with my own team.
Doesn't matter. Just felt dirty.
Okay, well, that's quite noble of you, the humble man you are. So I went for English, scored a 173, and you went for Parish, who scored a 92.
Fuck him.
And what was that?
Fuck him.
I thought you said that. But he wasn't the only one though. Like, Merritt, as we know, he scored pretty.
No,
pretty
everyone scored poorly. I will give them that.
Yeah, but that gives me an extra win on the board. So I go to 10 wins and you've got 7. And the difference is 196.
You got the first pick this week though, Damon. So while you figure out who you're picking, I will take a look.
Okay. Well, I can't go for English, obviously. So you've got first dibs on him, Liam, even though you got the second pick, because he would probably be my first pick.
Oh.
So there's my spoiler alert. And considering I can't go for him, I'm going to back in Zibont for a big game. I think he could go large. He's due. He needs to get some votes on the board for the Brownlow, I think, to try and catch Nicky Dacos. So yeah, for me, it's between. I'm tempted by Goulden just to go left field, but I won't go for Rory Laird because I'm scared. Yeah, probably didn't know it. So I'm going to go for Bont. Lock him in.
That was a whirlwind. I'd love to go to Rory Laird. Feels risky though.
Yes.
Tim English. I mean, Tim English just historically plays well against us, apparently. I don't remember him specifically in any of the games. Obviously, he plays well against us. But I also like Goulden.
Yes, your boy.
And I also like Dacos. I just
split it between them.
Yeah.
You get a quarter of a point.
Oh, let's go head-to-head. Tim English.
Tim English, yes. Nice. Well, let's, Liam, move on to the last segment. And it's where people send us in snail mail. The electronic kind. And it is... I got to
know.
Hey, I got to know.
Ian, I got to know.
Ooh,
oh, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
After you.
No, after you, good sir.
Ian, I got to know. We throw it open to you, the good folk of the SuperCoach Edge community, and we answer your burning questions. And the first question, David, I'm going to handle it straight to you. Malcolm at Cardinals278 on Twitter. I have no cover. Is it worth using a final trade to go Ashcroft M8 to Took, who will then become my M8?
Ooh. Very good. Well, just quickly as well, I reckon that was the first and only time we've been in unison. We've been on the same key.
Yeah, I know, right?
And it's been by accident. I've been talking about getting a quartet together, and Liam, see, the foundations are there. Anyway, answering this question from Malcolm, I think it's a no-brainer for me anyway. I spoke of Tookie Miller. He's got the scoring rate up already, whatever it was, 1.16 points per minute. Ridiculous. So, yeah, all he needs is some extra time on ground, and he'll start hitting those heights that we know that he can hit over, 125 plus captaincy scores in the kit. Ashcroft, as we know, he can only really score well when he's at the Gabba. It's only going to cost you an extra 16K or thereabouts.
I know Ashcroft on the weekend.
I know he did. His first good score away from the Gabba.
Yeah, that's a fair call.
But yeah, having said that, he's been in some good form. 111 up against Richmond, 148 against West Coast, and as you say, 102 at the G against the D's.
3 of the last 6 at the Gabba.
Okay, 50.
He's giving me Nick Dacos vibes of last year.
Yeah, I saw Tim Mitchell mention that on Twitter.
I have to say, not quite to the same level. I think Nick Dacos went to another level, but Ashcroft is giving me that bit of, we probably could have held him.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I think the fact that Malcolm's held him for as long as he has, he's got an extra 45.4K just on the weekend alone. Is incredible. His break even's still 37. Could go up in more. We should go up in more in price. But I think I always compare it, 5 rounds into the season. If you were given the choice of swapping Ashcroft for Took Miller, almost at his peak, he's not quite at his peak yet, but knowing what he can produce, he's come back pretty strong from injury. For the cost of 16K, would you take it? 100%, if it were me. I see it as a really big upgrade. I think over the course of the remaining games, I see Took Miller outscoring Ashcroft. So comparing the pair, I would go for that in a heartbeat, 100%. And just, the fact that you've held him for so long, you actually eked out an extra 100K almost from when a lot of people were trading him after his 62 game in round 15 against St Kilda. So, incredible stuff there to hold him, Malcolm. And it could bridge that gap to someone like a Took, as you mentioned, and I quite like it. So I'm in favour of that trade.
I'm not against holding Ashcroft another week. Took Miller's break even off memory was about 103. Comes up against GWS. Might be a tougher game for him. Could potentially see Ashcroft go up in price a bit more. Get a decent score from him at the Gabba. Coming up against Geelong. Yeah, okay. No, I'm actually changing my mind to trade him.
Trade him. I see what you mean.
Not that I think he'll go badly, but just I think it just comes down to whether you can hold him another week and get another week's look at Took Miller.
Yep. Yeah.
Not that I think Took Miller's a bad pick, but just, I don't know. It's sometimes nice to get that extra week.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pleasing to see just with Took as well, the fact that the correlation is there now with Stewie G no longer being there, who by the way would have loved our discussion and constant references to lollies, talking about when someone randomly threw a lolly into the coach's box and he just ate it up like a Hoover. Remember seeing that? Hilarious. Oh, I'll have to link it to you. I'll show it and I'll pop it up here in the vodcast here on YouTube.
Sounds like
someone throws the lolly and lands like literally on the desk. I don't know if they're throwing it at him, but he like picks it up without even a second thought, pops it in his gob, and then like leans over and like says thank you to whoever it was. It is the best thing ever. It is so funny. But he would have loved the chat about and constant references about lollies because of that. But yeah, as I was saying, Stephen King now being the interim coach, obviously him coming in, CBA's being granted back to Took when they were sort of taken away in the first game for Took back on the park. So yeah, maybe there still is that slight risk that he may play again, less game time. But that risk is negated for me anyway, just by the pure fact that he's still scoring 1.2, rounding it up, 1.2 points a minute, which is really good. Scoring rate's still there, hasn't dropped away no matter how many minutes he's playing. So yeah, for me, I would go for it. But again, if you want to hold maybe a week, that's at most why I would hold.
Yep, I agree entirely there. Moving on to the next question. It is from Fools on Twitter at Fools Finesse. And he asks Damon, or she, we don't know. Could be either. Hold or trade Tom Green.
I'll handball this back your way, Liam.
Okay, I'm going to handball it straight back. 1-2. No, I'm just joking.
1-2.
I think there's too many questions. There's a lot of variables here for me to answer this. So
true.
Holding him, it comes down to, there's a lot. Sorry, there's a lot going on. I think it comes down to where you sit in terms of your trades. If you have not many trades left, you could potentially hold him. Depends on what cover you've got. Depends on what you're playing for overall or leagues. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of variables going on. Who else you've got out currently? I'm assuming you got Dunks. Does he come back? I probably lean if you've got the trades, and if this is your final trade, I would not be making it. I'd be holding Tom Green.
Yep.
If you've got 2 to 3 trades, I think it's a coin flip, and it depends on the rest of your side. If you've got more than 3 trades somehow, then I think you could trade him. And I think I would trade him if I had more than 3 trades.
Yep.
He's out for 2 more games, which is, as we said, a third of the season to go.
Yep. And with a hamstring injury as well, we don't know. It's not like definitive 3 weeks, as they mentioned. It could extend beyond that as well, depending on the severity of, just look at Clary. The pink sweaty pig is supposed to be a 1 weeker at minimum. And bang, he's been out for God knows how long now. I even forget the taste of the sweet bacon. It's been that long. But yeah, for me, I would be looking to trade him down to someone like a Took Miller, especially if you've got more than, a few trades up your sleeve. That'll give you close to 80K to then put towards, if you need another upgrade or even just having trades in the bank to help you. Because like me, for example, I had 100K in the bank, was able to trade Green straight to Sicily, whilst it didn't pay off on the first week. And hopefully it does at some point. But it shows the value of having a bit of extra coin in the bank, even if you do have you're down to 3, 2, 1 trades or whatever, if you need to use them.
Agreed entirely.
Very nice. Well, let's move on to, I guess, going through the SuperCoach Edge Cup public group and leagues and all that sort of stuff before we wrap up.
Yes, and for round 18, our SuperCoach Edge Cup public group leader, again, carryover leader, yet again, Adam, with his team All Too Hard, and it is not all too hard for him. He has a round score of 2,475, and he has gone up in the rankings. He sat 19th before the start of this round, and now has gone up 4 spots to sit 15th overall. Ooh. So he is just outside the top 10, and we are all sitting here barracking for you, cheering you on as you climb the ladder to greatness. Top scorer for the round, though, Damon, who was that? I love this name.
It's Taylor. Very good. With his team name, Wilkie Bar Kid. Very good. Saints fan, even if you're not, I like it. Yeah. The punny names are the best.
Yeah.
So good. Round score of 2,625, if you don't mind. Very, very good. With a round rank of 39th overall. So massive well score. Done to you, Taylor, and well done for having an awesome team name. Double points.
Yes. Yep. Double points. For our Patreon exclusive group, the leader is, come on. We should just record ourselves doing this and just not have to waste our breath every time, because of course it is. It's T Prostitutes Inc. Jonas Goat, yet again. Very, very well done. And I just love that he's just up there every week. Round score 2,316 and an overall rank of 228. So absolutely flying there.
Yeah, and I'm behind him as well in that table, and I'm trying to peg him back, and I just can't. Actually, I gained 11 points on him on the weekend, so I'm coming for you, Jonas. I'm coming for you. If the season went for like 40 weeks, maybe probably longer, but yeah. The top scorer, yes, it was Matthew with his team Wox Warriors SCM. With a score of 2,459. SuperCoach Masters potentially. SCM.
I think so.
The loose crew over there. What about in terms of our Patreon exclusive SuperCoach Edge Cash League? How did things turn out there on the weekend?
Yes. Popperball FC was defeated by Ton 618, 2,095 to 2,362. Damon, you took on the Sharpshooters, top of the tables battle there, and you came out victorious. 2,327 defeating Sharpshooters 2,117. Scott Arthur with his team Black on White, he was defeated by Wade from Carps Crushers 2,227, defeating him 2,250 very, very close one there. And Damon, I took on Peter Tankers, our father-in-law, and he got a absolute hold of me in this game. 2,186 for myself, defeated by Tankers 2,369.
Very,
Absolute
very good.
weak. I'm also just frustrated every time I play sharpshooters and Brett. God love you, but every time I play you, you beat me, and then every week that I don't play you, and I could beat you, you're playing someone else, and it's so frustrating.
But what about? I thought you were going to speak of Peter's form there. What's
the absolute massive?
What's the head-to-head battle now between both of you? I think you obviously won.
I think I've had one win against him.
That was
like 17 matches. I swear I play him every second week.
That was the wedding, wasn't it? That was my wedding.
He won the wedding.
Oh, did he? Oh,
yeah.
I thought you might have run it. Oh, okay.
No, I didn't win that one, unfortunately.
And speaking of the old pistol, Pete, he's gifted a little mascot. I don't know if you can see it there on screen, but it's their cufflinks of Clary Oliver.
Clary.
So there he is, oink oink. So a little mascot here. It'll be sitting. Just sit him on the microphone for the rest of the episode. You just hear, just randomly in the mic, and that'll just be from him balancing precariously on the mic. But anyway, let's have a look at how the table looks for this league. And I went ahead, as you mentioned, in the top of the table clash between myself and the sharpshooters. So I've gone ahead by a win, 4 points ahead on the table, top of the table, 14 wins ahead of the sharpshooters on 13 wins. In third spot, we have Ton 618 Matthew with 9 wins. In fourth spot, Scott Arthur, black on white, with 7 wins. So a little bit of a golf pretty much presenting itself there between third and fourth. Then Carps Crushers Wade, his team is in fifth spot, 7 wins behind on points differential. And Liam, you're in sixth spot, Church of Parish with 6 wins, alongside but ahead on points of Popper Ball FC, Dylan's team, also on 6 wins, and Tankers rounding us out again. Geez, just so nice holding up the ladder for all of us.
Yes.
In 8th spot with 6 wins as well, but obviously lagging behind with points scored overall. I can smell potentially a pie, a triple chili pie potentially in the oven for Pete. I'll have to wait and see. But that brings us to the end of the show. But before we go, Liam, where can our listeners find us across our socials?
Yes, on YouTube, search SuperCoach Edge, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're very close to hitting our target. Help us get there.
We're 103 subscribers away.
Twitter at SuperCoach_Edge. You'll find plenty of fun stuff there, like some quotes from the good man, Jared Waitley, some direct quotes.
Exactly.
You'll find Damon at DamonJ88, myself at Liam Evans _95, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Search SuperCoach Edge, and we'll be there for you.
Yep, we'll be always there. And I'll create a Threads account as well, because I created one for myself, and just to see what all the fuss was about.
Do you use it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you're totally right. It's kind of like a hybrid between now. I think a lot of people have tuned out by this stage, so we're not going to be attacked by the Elon Musk lovers. But we're not Zuckerberg lovers either. We're just kind of on the fence. We're just critiquing both platforms.
I'm not a big fan of billionaires, personally.
No, exactly right. Who are you? There's a common thread there. Common thread. Speaking of threads, though, very much like, as you mentioned, it's a cross between Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of like, and it prompts you to add like your Instagram friends onto the platform. It's like, okay, well, makes sense. So you're not just speaking into the abyss, into the ether. But I don't know. It was strange. It was kind of gave me vibes, like early Facebook vibes, where people were actually, there's a guy that I used to work with, and he was like, yeah, I'm on Threads. Yeah, this is the best. I'm like, it just reminds me of like Facebook, or like, what was it used to be like? How are you feeling or something? It used to prompt you. But yeah, and then someone, I think it was actually his girlfriend posted a screenshot or a photo of him on his phone on Threads, being like, oh my God, my boyfriend's addicted to Threads. And I'm like, I don't know.
I think I've checked it like twice.
Yeah, I haven't checked it since I joined.
I think, I think it's just too much effort to like restart your Twitter account, essentially.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
gotta
exactly
follow
right.
people, you gotta find people. Like, I
Yep.
don't know. Too much work, too much effort.
And no hashtags. Like, how do people find you? That's the thing.
Yeah.
See, maybe now we're actually lovers of Elon Musk.
Yeah,
So
there
for
you
all
go.
those people
Not that Elon Musk set up the hashtag
exactly.
on Twitter, but
Yeah, not that he actually founded Twitter at all. He actually just bought the platform.
yeah,
Um,
just have a bit of a tendency to do that.
yeah, and just claims it all for himself. Like, I'm the smartest man alive.
Boy, everyone is stupid except me.
Anyway, before we get absolutely lynch mobbed, I think I can people marching down my street
hear
with flaming torches and pitchforks. So
Stick
let's
to
sign
footy,
off.
Damon.
Yeah, stick to footy. Let's do that. But as always, thanks for tuning in, and thank you as well for those people that have subscribed so far. It's
Yes.
it's gone up by rate of knots, which is good to help us tick along, because there was looking at one stage where we may not even hit the 900 subscriber mark. So thank you as always for those people who have supported us, tuned in, whether it be through the podcast, vodcast, or just peering through our window like this person that's doing right now. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, as we said, if you can give us a little bit of a follow, subscribe, and help us along our way, because it's going to help us help you, really, because
Yeah,
they're going to be getting a bit of a kickback here in the form of giveaways, cash leagues in 2024, and so on and so forth. So with that, that's it for another episode, Liam. Thanks as always for tuning in. All the best for the
Thank
round
you.
ahead. Hopefully there's no carnage for any of us,
fingers
and we
crossed.
bounce back. The yin and the yang. Let's hopefully it's whatever the good one is, the yin or the yang. Who knows?
I don't know. Is either of them good?
Yes, one of them is good. It's the yin and the yang. That's a cycle. So let's see it tick over, and we'll catch you same time, same place. We'll see you then.
See you guys.